Dude, welcome back to Hanging Out with the Dudes. I'm your host, PC, and we got another great show for you today. P4, main man from way out west, had the show all by himself last week. I was in Boston seeing a Fenway game. K-Stout was doing whatever, and I think I heard that Nick Howard was out looking for the ancient Aztecs out in South America. Doing a dig out there to figure out the land, the lost land of the Aztecs. So he might be joining us. We don't know. He always has that crappy perception. But we have K-Stel here, obviously Sportsmanship Award winner for the second year in a row. K-Stel, how's the week going? We missed you last week, but how's everything going throughout the week?
Yeah, pretty solid. Just vacation mode, which was pretty exciting. Um, Other than that, went to Fantastic Four on Saturday or
That's on my
Friday.
list for Monday. I'm excited about it.
So that was pretty exciting. Probably gonna go see Weapons here soon, and probably that new Naked Gun movie. I may go and see
The
Superman.
Naked Gun movie looks pretty funny too.
It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. I was like, dude, there's like TV series that are longer.
Episodes are like
Yeah. So we'll see. It looks pretty good. I'm excited. The movie slot from like August on looks way more exciting than what we got in like July and
yeah,
June.
summer is usually when it's really good. This summer really has
You know what I thought I thought of the kids nowadays, they're getting into these relationships during the school year, and it's like the perfect time to like get the date out there.
you want to be outside during the summer.
Yeah, and I feel like we're still in that like period of I want to be outside more after COVID. COVID kind of screwed it up, bro. People were like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that again, where I'm inside all the time. I want to go and do stuff." So, but yeah, movie slots looking fire. Um, what else? I'm in Denver this week. Gonna go catch a Rockies game. Rockies Blue Jays. Speaking of Blue Jays, sorry to beat you guys in a series, but
That sucks. Too bad for you. You are still the number one team in the is what it is. The Royals did get that. Well, I'm sure we'll discuss Royals. We had a big trade deadline. We may save a lot of that talk for next week, just depending on how all the guys who shows up when. But let's go quickly in, guys. The dead season, the dog days of summer are almost over.
we're getting
They are
close.
almost done. Month left. We just had our first preseason game, the Hall of Fame Classic. Total beatdown of the Lions. But we got few weeks left here this preseason, and then NFL football season starts. College football is only 3 weeks away, so we're getting into that grind fest session. We will be doing another Dudes in Sports Fantasy Football League. We need to find a few more members. So if you're a fan or whatever, and would like to maybe join and participate. This year, I think we have a few open spots this year. But we'll get it filled out. We'll do another live stream for our draft. It should be exciting stuff there. But yeah, so throughout the next 5 weeks before football season starts on September 3rd, September 3rd, we are going to be doing our predictions throughout the year. Now, usually all the guys would be here. So you're only going to get kind of a smaller version today with me and K-Stel. But we are going to go in a little bit of in-depth of what we think about each division. We're each going to pick one winner from each division. We'll keep track of that throughout the year, and then the loser will have to spin the wheel of punishment. Because man, we didn't see the wheel of punishment in a while now. Seems like smart or dumb. We can't quite get everybody on. The rules going to be implemented here soon. If we got 3 members here, one person just gets a 0. I also know that we've had a Taylor Swift PowerPoint ready and just haven't been able to pull the trigger on that. So we need to get that done as well. But a punishment will be enacted for the loser of our pick'em. We will also be doing a weekly pick'em. We'll pick 2 or 3 games out of that week, and then we'll do a pick'em, and we'll keep track of that as well, and that'll go into your points. So these are going to be worth 5 points if you get the division right, and then we'll do a weekly pick'em worth 1 point each week. Three games each week, and then we'll pick from out of those 18 weeks. And then if you get the division winner right, you get 5 points. If you get at the very end, right before the NFL season starts, we are going to do our Super Bowl predictions, MVP, Rookie of the Year, DPOY, all those predictions. If you pick the MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. That's another 5 points on your total. If you pick Super Bowl people who are actually going to be participating in the Super Bowl, it's going to be plus 10 for you. And then if you pick the Super Bowl champion, it will be plus 15 to your points. So we'll have that all explained out in a little bit further detail. Again, when both the other dudes can get on. But we are going to start today. K-Stel and I are going to give our little bit of an intro to what we think. And so since P4 isn't here, there's no AFC East. So we're going to start up in the North. Now, we got the AFC North. The teams in your AFC North right now are Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, coming off a great season. Not quite being able to get the job done, obviously. But we'll see if they can bounce back. Derrick Henry's still good there. Defense really good as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers, very up in the air with Aaron Rodgers being there now. They've always been that kind of 500 team. Rodgers didn't play well for the Jets, obviously from what we've known from the main man way out west. So Pittsburgh's a little bit of an experiment, but we'll see how that goes. Then you've got the crapshoot of the Browns organization, where quarterbacks go to die, and then their careers get reversed once they go to a different team. We don't know who's going to be their starting quarterback out there. They're thinking maybe who's probably going to be a starting quarterback out there in Cleveland. Do you think?
Well, Deshaun he tore his Achilles, right? So he's out for the season.
You've got I think it's Joe Flacco.
It's Flacco. It's Shador. It's Dylan Gabriel, and didn't they get another one?
Kenny Pickett. So it's in between Joe Flacco.
Kenny's on the roster?
Yep. For that first QB spot. Dylan Gabriel and Shador still fighting for that third string, kind of. Probably won't see any action between them. You would think it would be Joe Flacco's job to lose, since Deshaun is going to be out a considerable amount of time. They have had some issues with some signings, so that'll be really interesting. And then maybe you see the Cincinnati Bengals. Did they figure out their offensive line problems? Did they figure out their defensive problem? Jamar Chase, one of the best wide receivers in the league, obviously. Joey Burr, great quarterback. Not really Burrow-head anymore, as they've been kind of experiencing a little bit of setback. Obviously, our Chiefs been doing pretty well. There's your preview of a little preview of the AFC North. K-Stel, if you had to take your predictions now, where do you have staying at the top? Who's finishing in second? Who's finishing third? Who is finishing at the bottom of the league for the Cleveland, or for the AFC North? Even though I pretty much know the fourth team is probably going to be the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. So this is where it's going to get tricky, because the NFC North, prediction-wise, is just going to be a bit... I think it's the easiest one out of maybe the NFC East, maybe the whatever. But the Baltimore Ravens should be the team leading that division when the regular season is over. They are way too talented. Lamar Jackson is way too good of a regular season quarterback to allow that to happen. The only reason that doesn't happen is if Lamar Jackson's injured, if multiple injuries are occurring, maybe if P4 bombs the entire stadium, but we'll see what happens. But they should be
one of us in the wreckage.
Cleveland absolutely should be fourth. I believe in my heart that Shador Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns. I think they just don't really have anybody else to get to. I mean, they could go Joe Flacco, and maybe the diehard fans will go, sure, that'll be cool. But I think the Browns are just going to be little pieces for Roger Goodell.
Joe Flacco's like a Baltimore Raven. And then, why did they draft Dylan Gabriel then?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck? We drafted him earlier.
It just doesn't make sense. Shador is going to be their movie star or whatever. He's going to go out there. He's probably not going to be awful, in my opinion, because I think the Browns are better than people think they are. I don't think they're going to be like a toilet bowl team, but they're not going to be... oh my word, this team's coming in like it's over. So the Browns will be there, but they won't be they'll probably be like a 10-win team, maybe. We'll see how their defense works. I think the runner-up in that division, is probably going to end up being the Steelers, just because that's just what the Steelers like to do.
Cincinnati.
I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to get injured early in the season again because he shouldn't be playing football anymore. Just what he did to the Jets franchise was despicable. So I think he's injured. I think Will Howard will end up being the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they will end up being that second team. He'll be pretty solid. And, of course, the third team rounding it out is going to be Cincinnati. They're going to start off like pieces of shit, and then they're going to come back, and they're going to win a couple of games. Joe Burrow is going to have a ton of yards, but then he's going to get sacked all the time. It's probably going to be the same, story we've always watched with the NFC North. The Ravens kill everybody. The Pittsburgh Steelers just find a way to not be horrible. And Cincinnati's fighting their way to get back into the playoffs after an awful start. And the Browns are just going to be the Shedeur Sanders show. They're going to have a television show at the end of the season because there's so many cameras on them. Deion Sanders is going to quit his job at Colorado and be like a extra coach for the Browns because
Did just step away, but dude,
yeah. So that's what I think is going to happen. You can maybe say the Browns may find a way to get up over the Bengals. Maybe switch the Bengals and the Steelers, but for sure the Ravens stay there pending a injury for Lamar or like half of their defense. But that's just what I think.
So K-Stelt's going to have it go in order. He's going to take the Baltimore Ravens as his +5 pick. But he's going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bengals, and Browns, but be a little bit more competitive. I'm going to take mine real quick, give the main man from Way Out West a chance to think about his AFC North, and Howard, who just joined us from his architectural, trying to discover some ancient Aztec stuff in there. He says that
The relics. The relics are important.
Make sure that it looked like that went really well. But here's mine. So I agree with K-Stelt with the Baltimore Ravens thinking taking the division of the AFC North. Lamar is really, really good. Derrick Henry's still going to be a beast. That defense is good. I don't think the AFC North is going to be that competitive. I think the Bengals are my number 2 team. I think they did figure out a little bit on that offensive line. Their defense is still kind of a mess. They're going to have to outscore everybody. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be another disappointment, just like he did to the Jets. And I think they're going to kind of crumble. Mike Tomlin's going to get blamed, and he's going to get fired. And they're going to end up in 3rd. And then Kyle's really high on the Browns. Not high, but he thinks they're going to win.
I don't think
games.
they're going to be that bad.
I think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be a 4-win team, one of the worst teams in the AFC. I think they don't understand what's going on at quarterback. They don't have anything going on. Nothing good going for them. It's just gonna. I think it's just a mess over there, and I think it's just gonna continue to be a mess. They're losing Garrett, who wants to be out, and I think you've got a lot more problems in Cleveland than Shedeur Sanders. It would be cool to see him start. Who knows? We don't even know if he's gonna start or be ahead on the depth chart over Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted above him. But for my my pick for the AFC North is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, just for the main man for Way Out West and Howard, who just joined us here, and anybody that maybe just joined us live. We'll go over kind of what we're doing here for the NFL. So each week we are going to pick a team from the respective division. So this week is AFC North and NFC North. Next, the following week will be the AFC East, and then the NFC East. The following week after that will be the AFC South, the NFC South, and finally we'll finish off AFC West and NFC West. And then the weekend right before football regular season starts, we will be doing Super Bowl prediction, MVP predictions, that kind of stuff. We are going to do a weekly pick'em as part of our NFL stuff this year. So each we'll pick 3 games out, and then you pick one, and we'll keep track of points throughout the year. So for each week, there'll be 3 different games. You pick a pick'em winner, you get +1 if you get it right. Okay, we do that for 18 weeks, going all the way through. At the beginning here, while we have our picks for each division, if you get the division leader correct during these picks, it's going to be +5 to your total towards our NFL review. And then at the very end, your Super Bowl predictions. If you pick somebody that's in the Super Bowl, it's +10 towards your final score. And then your Super Bowl victory. If you pick the winner of the Super Bowl before the season starts, it's plus 15. We'll keep track of this weekly, kind of how we do Smart or Dumb, but just a little bit different, kind of cool. Loser will have to spin the wheel, and there should be some extra added stuff to that. But just so Howard and Main Man from Way Out West can kind of figure it out. Let's go, Main Man from Way Out West. You've been here thinking a little bit. Who do you have? How do you see the AFC North doing this year?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's kind of what we're dealing with. Is Cleveland still doesn't really know what it's doing. You got Baltimore, who's real good. You have Pittsburgh, who's been right around there, just about there, at least in their Tomlin, and before that. So they've never really been out of it. I'm not going to speak on the Jet, Aaron Rodgers stuff. And then you have Cincinnati, who's also a very good team. Seems like we're going Baltimore a lot, so maybe I'd switch it up and say Cincinnati. But between those two teams, I think that's kind of the toss-up. And then you look at Pittsburgh and then Cleveland after that. I think, yeah, is tough to say Pittsburgh keeps their 500 streak alive. Maybe that's what I'm willing to go out on a limb here for. I think the Cincinnati-Baltimore is a little tighter than K-Stout and you made it seem. Yeah, I think if I had to make a prediction on the entire division as a whole, I'd say Pittsburgh doesn't go 500, but I think I'm probably going to take Baltimore to win it.
We've got 3 on the Baltimore train here, trying to get that easy 5. Everybody's kind of in agreement here. Howard, are you going to stick with the train, or are you going to take a risk, maybe, and pick another team that you think could potentially win the AFC North, or do you think Lamar and Derek, your old Derrick Henry friend, take the AFC North division?
I do think that this is one of the better Ravens rosters in a while. I know we say that a whole lot. I mean, we go back and forth with their defense. Their offense is really good. And Lamar stays at least consistent. I know the memes have to fly about his playoff success and stuff in the past, which it was a Mark, don't know why I just blanked out on his name, Mark Anderson, or Andrews, drop away from really having a stretch on his legacy going closer towards the Super Bowl, but obviously that's football for you and sports in general. I think that this team looks pretty decent all around this year. And, like, once again, we say this, but Malachi Starks is a really good rookie for them that's going to be coming in this year. He, I think, is one of my more underrated picks for the draft. They had him in a lot of, like, top 10 overall mock drafts for safeties, but being a safety. But he can be really good. Jair Alexander, if the health isn't terribly an issue, I think that he could be a huge contributor for what he did in Green Bay before he got hurt and kind of had some stuff going on there. We will see. Hopefully he's good because this Ravens team at this bowl potential would be nice. DeAndre Hopkins is, I don't know, he didn't do terrible on his last days as a Chief, but at the same time, I think that he can maybe do a little something for this team that really has gone through and had issues with receivers in the past, for sure. I mean, how many drops in Lamar's career? You can count on, like, 4 hands at least. But at the same time, I think it's a good team overall. I'm not sure if it's going to be groundbreaking, but they should do that. They should win the AFC North, in my opinion. I do agree with that. Second, I think I'm going to go with the Steelers. I know that it's kind of interesting and twisty-tossy. People think that Bengals could be really good. I think there's a lot of stuff going on with the Bengals right now. It's a lot of jabber, but I've already yapped a lot about the Ravens, so I will say that the Steelers, I just think, have good additions to this team's roster. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, say what you will about him. They got good weapons now compared to what they did last year. Kind of whatever they were trying to work with wasn't terrible. I think their defense is still pretty solid, but overall, yeah, I think the Steelers will go and finish second. Bengals is just going to be a twisty toss time kind of season, maybe a lot of offense like last year, but I think the defense is just still a disarray. And even with the Hendrickson drama, I know he's coming back, but it's just been a lot, I feel like, in that entire organization this offseason. So I think that they will finish third. And I am kind of on board, at least in the quarterback situation with the Browns. I'm not too sure. The trade and the draft was already like a weird start, I feel like, to a long season ahead for the Browns. I know Mason Graham's maybe a decent player. He probably could turn into that, but I still think that the vibes just needed a little change of something in that locker room, and they really didn't get that this offseason. So I think that they'll just be the same old Browns with a struggling QB situation. Maybe Gabriel comes out on top. Maybe Shadur Sanders shows what he did in college a little bit. He's just got to go and, I guess, adapt into the team. We'll see what that even turns out to be, but I think it's a safe bet to say that the Browns will finish last. So I'll go Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns for my standings in the AFC North.
So all the dudes obviously kind of picked the Ravens here. This was kind of the ones where it wasn't as close and competitive. I felt like everybody was kind of on board with the Ravens. We'll see if the Ravens get any picks maybe to win the AFC here. But let's flip over to the NFC side, where I feel like the NFC North is much more competitive than the AFC North, especially at the top here. You had 3 playoff teams from last year in the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Green Bay Packers all slipping in. However, all 3 of them did lose in that wild card game, which is pretty crazy to see. A quick preview over some of these teams. The one team that did not make it, but seems like maybe in the step in the right direction, is your Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams coming in with his new season. He has his main wide receiver threat in DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze coming in with his second year. Don't forget about Luther Burden, their first round or their second round draft pick was Luther. Luther coming out of that second round draft pick. I think he might be a really big steal there in the second round, especially being a slot guy. Very interesting offense here. You got Montez Sweat now on the outside for this defense. DJ Edwards. Some interesting pickups here for the Chicago Bears, and also hopefully fixing some of their offensive line with Joe Thuney at left guard now. So very interesting here to see how the bottom of the league NFC North team, the Chicago Bears, are going to do. Let's go now quickly up north to the Detroit Lions. They did finish last year at the number 1 spot, getting upsetted in the first round of the playoffs by Jaden Daniels, are also Howard's favorite player. So Detroit still looks really good, right? They still have Jared Goff, really veteran quarterback there. He's maybe the only kind of thing that you don't know. He's still going to play good, but this is the year that they really need. Like last year, you kind of felt like there's a lot of momentum building. It got shut really quickly. But we'll see if Goff can be the solution for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the best running backs in the league, and then one of the best wide receiver duos in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. We know how high Dude Sports are on Jamison Williams. And then one of the best defenses, Hutchinson's going to be back. Jack Campbell, Alex Anzol, I can't say his gosh dang name, and Derek Barnes. The linebacker core is going to be good. And then my personal favorite defensive player in Brian Branch and safety. Detroit's going to be scary again. You've got the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. You've got Josh Jacobs at running back here. The big question mark, wide receiver. Had a lot of injuries last year. Christian Watson got hurt. They got kind of it just kind of depended on how they would do. They did get Matthew Golden this year in the draft. He's going to be probably their wide receiver too, so that's a little bit of interesting. Somebody maybe that Jordan Love can end up being a really big target for him. Green Bay is still pretty good. They're kind of in that mix here. And then finally, the surprise team from last year, but with a new quarterback in the Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy's team now. He still has Justin Jefferson, one of, or if not the best wide receivers in the league, along with Jordan Addison and Jaden Naylor, who's actually pretty good. T.J. Hawkinson has played decent as well. And then also Aaron Jones, the former Green Bay running back. This defense is still pretty solid, but I think this one is going to be very, very competitive. Let's start off with the main man from way out west. What is your predictions going into the NFC North?
Yeah, much like last year, and Minnesota did lose Sam Darnold this offseason, and JJ, mixed reviews coming out of training camp so far. But other than that, it was pretty much the Detroit Lions show. Then after that, you had Jordan Love, and then kind of after that, you had Sam Darnold, and then Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb did get a good offense or new head coach this year. He was a former offensive coordinator of the Lions, Ben Johnson. I've seen some clips. You don't want to put too much stock in the clips and all that, but it looks like Ben Johnson's maybe trying a little too much of the funky stuff, and Caleb isn't quite the quarterback that Jared Goff was, right? Doesn't have that veteran kind of knowledge of the game. He's still trying to figure out how to get first downs, touchdowns, win games in the league. Jared Goff was doing that in LA. Came, was able to kind of understand the more nuance to the game through Ben Johnson. And I want to make sure that Ben Johnson doesn't and temper my expectations that Caleb Williams, while he was an incredible talent coming out of USC last year, he still has a lot to learn, and it's not just going to be flipping a switch. So they might be a little lower. I don't know. It's probably between them and Minnesota for the bottom two, and then Green Bay and Detroit for the top two. Detroit probably edges Green Bay out, and then I think you probably only get 2 playoff teams, maybe a third in this division. The NFC looks pretty good this year, so that'll be revealed. But I do like the Detroit Lions to win the division again. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, their offense is incredible. Defense is incredible. It's going to be some new offensive and defensive coaches over there. They lost their defensive coach to the new head coach of the Jets, Aaron Glenn. So we'll see what they do. But there's been some moving and shaking in that division, but I think the top kind of stays at the top.
P4 is going with last year's NFC North Division champion, the Lions. K-Stellar, are you agreeing with him, or are you going to pick somebody else?
Here's kind of how I'm looking at it, and Nick Howard made a good point a couple of days ago, but the Detroit Lions are a Jared Goff injury away from being one of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion. I think that Ben Johnson was such a
Teddy Bridgewater.
impact. No. I think Ben Johnson was such an impact to that Detroit Lions team, and I think the current Jets head coach, the name is just completely
Aaron
going. Glenn, losing their 2 coordinators that, in my opinion, I believe set the tone strategically for those 2 offenses. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be, I think they're going to be ending up in 3rd place. I don't think their talent, like they do have talent, but I think that the way they handle business is very sporadic. They get injured a lot, and they don't have their coordinators to basically throw the plays out there to make them a good team, in my opinion. I think Green Bay takes the first spot this year. Green Bay had a great draft last season, and I think they did enough to give Jordan Love the ability to have a good offense. Just give him wide receivers. Give him really good wide receivers. And now he has that. Their defense is going to be okay. They've been okay for the past 2 years. And I think they're going to exploit, in my opinion, a weaker NFC North than last year. I think this is like the AL Central of the NFL. Like, all of a sudden these teams are really good, and then we're going to get to next season, and then all of a sudden there's like maybe 2 that are in the playoffs. Maybe 1. I think the second team is going to be the Bears. I think Ben Johnson's that much of an impact on this Bears team. I think the Bears did enough in the offseason and in the draft to get their line for Caleb Love. I think if Caleb Love just has a line, he's going to be way better than last season. I don't think he's going to be a Super Bowl contender, but I absolutely think he can get them to the playoffs with the talent that he has around him. And their defense is better than people give him credit for. So if the Bears can just protect Caleb Love, I think that they're going to be good. And as P4 said, like clips of Caleb Love sucking and drills and stuff like that. Oh, Williams. Williams. If Williams is sucking and drills and stuff like, it's kind of like the spring training. It's spring training for football. Like the stats don't really matter that much. It's all about the effort you give in. Are you working on stuff that you're trying to get better for the regular season? I think
doesn't mean there won't be a learning curve.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying that Williams is going to be, the next Peyton Manning coming out here and just doing everything. But I think he's going to exploit what, in my opinion, a bad Minnesota team is. I think Minnesota's going to suck. I think J.J. McCarthy is not good. I don't think he has the talent. I don't think he has the athleticism to be an NFL quarterback. He might have a couple of good games because he's got so much talent around him, but I don't think he's a good quarterback at all, and I think Minnesota ends up being the 4th team in that division. I think it's going to be Minnesota 4, Lions 3rd, the Bears 2nd, and the Green Bay in 1st place. I think the Bears don't make the playoffs, but they're going to be, kind of getting in. And Dylan just said Drew Lock over Caleb Williams. Maybe. But I think the Bears are fighting for a playoff spot. Like, they're going to be that team that goes and, can they do it? Can they not? And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I think the Green Bay Packers are the only team out of the NFC North that get into the playoffs.
All right, so we have one Detroit Lion. We have one Green Bay Packer. Howard, are you joining on any of these wagons, or are you going to pick Caleb Williams, or are you going to pick J.J. McCarthy? What's your thoughts and opinions on the NFC North?
I do think that this is just a good division overall. It's just really tough to make a logical thought in my head without saying the best case scenario for a team or the worst case scenario for a team. I feel like if we're being realistic in all these expectations, the potential is there for the Bears. The Lions, sure, they have kind of slow little depth, and they got a lot of new coordinators that could toss a lot of things, but they still have some of the best players in the league. I mean, sure, I'll be biased with Jameson Williams. He's just an insanely fast guy that had barely 1,000 yards, but I feel like still that combo with Amon-Ra is just a really lethal group there. And then you got still a great running back tandem in Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is just absurd, and he's going to continue to score touchdowns next year. The defense will be interesting because I do think Aaron Glenn did a very good job with a lot of the injuries that happened this year. But that being said, I really do like this first unit for the Lions defense. I think Terrion Arnold, I really like his tape a lot. I've been following during the spring camps at corner for the Lions. Terrion Arnold, correct. He is a dog out of Bama, I think, in his 2nd year this year. But I think that by the end of the season, this is one of my hot takes I was going to post in the group chat. But I think that he's going to be potentially a top 3 corner in the league by the end of the season. Arnold is really just on the hip, completely smothering guys. He did it last year, and he was very underrated for that. I think when he gets more exposure, locking down these top wide receivers, I think he's going to be incredible this year, and I think that's going to go a long way. I like the first unit for the Lions. I know it's going to be some change in the coordinators, but I still think the grit is there. So I would say that they would probably just be my top team in a very you could win, you could lose kind of division, in my opinion. I think they could still be gritty enough to go and win it with under Dan Campbell. And then I'd say the second team out of this division, I know the Vikings are not really too good on paper, at least their offense. They do have Justin Jefferson amongst the best, arguably the best receiver in the NFC, but I think that, yes, this team is reliant on J.J. McCarthy, but I think this defense is incredibly underrated. You got Jonathan Allen that joined from the Commanders last year, and I think that he's still really good at top of his game, healthy. Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator for the team. I think that since he's taken over that defense, they've been just a really good unit overall, even when they got backups in. I think that this is just a really solid unit that they have here for their defense-wise, and I think that they can take over big time in those kind of games. It's going to be ugly, but I think if J.J. McCarthy is just at least decent enough, not even like Bo Nix level, like maybe Bo Nix great value, and has Justin Jefferson. Hawkinson's a great tight end. And I do like Ty Felton, who they got in the draft. I think he'll have an underrated season. 3rd round selection. And I think that the Vikings will surprise a lot of people and make last seed in this division. for the playoffs. I think that they can be really good in the second seed. And then the third, I will go probably the Packers on this one because they still look good. I mean, they didn't really lose anyone besides Jair Alexander, if you want to call it lose. Overall, I still think this team is pretty decent. They gained Matthew Golden, who I think could potentially be the best receiver out of this draft this year, potentially. He was great at Texas, and I think if he can be any bit of a big weapon to love, I think the offense is still going to carry on. But they didn't really do much this offseason. It seemed like, at least going through the roster, nothing really changed too much to their degree besides some offensive line depth. But other than that, I just don't think that it's really going to be anything crazy. And I'd say the Packers finished third. They'll still give a good fight. They're still the Packers last year, but that's really all they are at best. And then the last team, I will go with the Bears because I do agree to P4's point a lot. I do think Caleb Williams can be a really good QB. And I think that Ben Johnson has all the potential in the world with his play call. He's got to get a little organized being head coach, I will say. But I think he can be ballsy enough like Vrabel or something like that to go and push something to win close, tight games with what the Bears can do. I think that they still have a decent defense. At least a lot of their younger guys like Kyler Gordon is really good. And, cornerback from Utah, I'm blanking. Jalen Johnson, thank you. Yeah, he is a dog as well. So that defensive backfield's good. I do think that they'll be a decent team. They could maybe be like a 6-win, maybe 7-win last place team. Who knows? But I think that they will probably be at the bottom just because that they have something. It'll be a good sign, I think. They won't be too upset, but they will be going through a lot of growing pains. So I do have them fourth, so I'd say. The Lions first. Let's go Vikings second. I think that defense can be really solid for them. Third, the Packers. And then fourth, the experiencing, but on the way maybe to greatness Bears.
So we've got obviously two people for the Lions, one pack show. I think the NFC North is going to be really interesting again this year, as everybody's kind of said. I think it's going to be really close up at that top level. The Vikings, surprised a lot of people last year. I think they can surprise. I cannot say no to Justin Jefferson just because you know how talented he is. It doesn't matter as long as the ball gets in his hands. He's going to make plays. I know this preseason hasn't looked great, but again, it is kind of preseason. They're figuring it out. I think by the end they'll figure it out. I still find them at the very bottom of the NFC North. I think they figure it out. They're not going to be quite a 500 team, but I think McCarthy's going to have to go through some growing pains. I think that defense is going to be really good, but I just think you don't have a quarterback that can put the ball where it needs to be, especially getting into your one playmaker's hands all the time. I think Aaron Jones is going to regress a little bit, getting up in age a little bit. So I have them at fourth. Third, I do have Caleb Williams in the Bears. I think they hit the spots that they're really looking for. I think the Joe Thuney pickup was really good. Their line, they tried to fix some of that up. Their defense got a little bit better. They picked up Luther Burden, who I think will be a sneaky wide receiver for the Bears. But again, I think there's still a lot more growing pains, like maybe from way out west and Howard both mentioned already, that Caleb could be really, really good, but he needs to have a little bit more experience. Maybe catch himself as maybe a 7th spot in that playoff or just on the outside looking in, 500 team. I think it's a good and if you're a Chicago Bears fan, you're going to be decently pleased with the season, even if you don't make the playoffs. At my number 2 spot, I am going to have the Detroit Lions. I think Detroit is awesome and incredible. And I don't blame either one of P4 or Howard for picking the Lions to be the number 1 team. That offense is unbelievable. Jahmyr Gibbs could be the best running back in the league this year. I think he's up for another explosive year for them. Montgomery's a good second downhill runner for them. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is one of my favorite receivers to watch, and Jameson Williams, who's an excellent counterpart to more route running Amon-Ra, and then obviously my favorite defensive player, Brian Branch, just to watch him fly all over the field like an old school safety. Has been really fun to watch. But I think the Packers got the wide receiver that they needed to really make the jump and really compete. I don't think they're going to be the top of the NFC. I think they'll be a 2 or a 3 seed, maybe playing in that first round, kind of like how Detroit was last year. of the or Detroit got the first overall bye last season, but they hopefully that they can get in that wild card. They may have that slip up like Detroit had last year, but I think Matthew Golden is going to be that piece that the Packers have been missing on offense. Their defense is going to be good enough, and they are going to win the NFC North. I think it's only going to be like by a game. I think the Lions are going to be your number one wild card spot out of the NFC, being really, really good and a highly competitive NFC. But I'm going to take Green Bay as well. So for our first week, and like I said, we'll go over the rules and stuff next week. I have them all written out just in front of you so you can see it. But for the AFC North, everybody is going straight sweep for the Ravens, and then we are split 2-2 in the NFC North. Myself and K-Stel are going the Packers. P4 and Howard are going the Lions. Next week, we will be talking about the South of the AFC and NFC. We'll be talking a little bit of Titan talk, all that kind of jazz. So it'll be very interesting coming into next week. But let's quickly move over to like the last little bit of off-season stuff, and then we'll get to the MLB baseball, because I know the trade deadline boys are dying to talk some baseball here. CBB Corner, little preview for what's going to happen this season. I've given out my top 5 multiple times, and we're quickly going down in the row. We've done a little bit of a preview for the Kansas Jayhawks, we've done a preview for the Duke Blue Devils, and then my number 1 team, the Houston Cougars, my number 2 team, the St. John's Red Storm, the BYU Cougars, and now my number 4 team, I've got the Florida Gators, the number 1 team out of the SEC for another consecutive year. I really like this Gators team. I think they've returned all the most valuable pieces that they needed to. Alex Condon coming back is really good. Thomas Houck coming back was another guy that you thought maybe stay in the draft. He's coming back. And Ruben Chulu, who I honestly felt like was one of the best centers in the league. It just needed some more growth. And so he's coming back. That front court is going to be nasty again. They did end up losing Walter Clayton Jr., who did go to the NBA and get drafted. Elijah Mitchell is also gone. So that backcourt is missing a little bit. So what do? They go out and get maybe, and I don't know, Howard may agree with this, one of the best transfers in the portal in Boogie Flag out of Arkansas. He was going to be
Boogie Fland,
excuse me, yeah. Boogie Fland out of Arkansas, transferring over to Florida to play that guard role and be that more Walter Clayton style of player that really was successful last year for Florida. And also, don't forget about the sharpshooter, another really good transfer, Xavier Lee out of Princeton. He's going to be a dog coming from a smaller school from Harvard, being really well for them. They've got some bench depth. They've picked up a few guys. I don't think they're going to be back-to-back national champions, but I do think they are going to be at the top of the SEC and maybe even compete to get to a Final Four or a national championship. I know Howard has maybe a few thoughts. I know K-Stel and Main Man probably do not, but Howard, do you have any thoughts on these Florida Gators? Have you looked at anything recent? I know we're way early in this, and then we'll go over to the meat and potatoes of the Dudes and Sports and the MLB trade deadline. But the key games, really quick before Howard gives opinion. They play Arizona in Vegas early on in the season. They play at Duke in the ACC SEC Challenge, and they play UConn at a neutral for the Jimmy V Classic. Now, obviously, the SEC schedule and stuff is not quite out yet, but those are the most notable ones here. Howard, what is your thoughts, opinions? Got anything on the Florida Gators?
I'd say just for like a quick recap of them, they do have a lot of like depth that they're coming in this year. Like they won the national championship, and I feel like they just didn't take their foot off the pedal in the transfer portal. Like I said before, Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee are 2 really good guards that they got. Fland is really underrated, and he had his injuries and kind of up and down. So I feel like by the end of the season, he really found himself. So I think that him in the Gator system is really good. You have Condon and Howe again coming back for the team, and I think Thomas Howe is just an incredible player that doesn't pop up that much on the stat sheets, but when you see him on the court, you know who Thomas Howe is, like the way he plays basketball. And I think I kind of do agree that maybe they're not like the best team in the nation. They look like a really good team on paper that has a good chance. But I think maybe if they're like depending on a lot of like big man playmaking, that would be really helpful for that team. But at the same time, Fland is good. I think that he's a great combo guard type of guy. He can go and bring it to the basket and work around. I'm not really too confident on his playmaking skills, so I think in the guard category, it will be a little shaky in that department. And that's pretty big in the game of college basketball because, like, mistakes are mistakes. And this is a team that Walter Clayton, he wasn't, like, the best playmaker in the country, but at the same time, he could go and make the right passes and he would score on a given basis. If Flan can kind of follow that footprint and they continue what they did last year, it will be definitely difficult to stop them come March.
Yeah, for sure. So we have that for just a quick little preview for that. Next week we'll be talking about my number one team in the Big Ten. Unfortunately, it's not Iowa, but we do have some short stuff coming over Iowa in the upcoming weeks. Hopefully we can get Isaiah back on the pod and talk some Iowa hoops. But we got through the off-season stuff. It is now time for the main event. The Dudes in Sports group chat was on fire for this MLB trade deadline because the MLB trade deadline was on fire. I'm not a baseball guy, and I was even looking at it. So, K-Stel, you got any? You want to talk about some of this trade deadline, some of the best stuff through there? What's your thoughts and opinions as we get closer and closer to October?
I got so much. Let me just let's turn the time back a little bit. Getting the time machine, man. Thursday was crazy. Not a lot to do at work, and who was I watching? There was a couple of guys that I try to pay attention to. The one who I don't watch and I will never pay attention to is Talking Baseball. I just want to say this right now, and excuse my French. Fuck Talking Baseball to the highest degree. Those guys are bums. John Boy Media, who I used to love watching, is a complete scuzzbag. He's an awful CEO. He only cares about a team, which I'm not going to say I'd be better at it, but when you're running a business that is strictly talking about baseball in an unbiased censor, you cannot ruin the show that you're talking about and only give a fuck about the Yankees, bro. And it doesn't help that you're a Yankees fan. Sorry, I'm not going to find out who I watched. It's some Red Sox guy who I think Red Sox fans are the best talking baseball fan. If you wanted to have a talking baseball like show, it should have been Red Sox fans because they
Fenway is one of
That's Barstool.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but Barstool's a bunch of degenerates. I'm talking about like Red Sox fans, not guys who like Red Sox baseball. I'm talking about Red Sox baseball fans. But
Very distinct.
Just going over what happened Thursday. In the morning, it was kind of like stuff happened. Lunch came around, and nothing was happening, which made sense. And then I think we got to like the 1 p.m. Central Time situation, and there was a lot of stuff happening. That was when the Mason Miller trade went down, and that's when the floodgates opened. And maybe it was such a floodgate opening that people didn't know what to do. Because we're going to talk about this man soon. His name is AJ Preller, and he was the reason that this trade deadline was so bananas. Mason Miller got traded along with another starting pitcher, JP Sears, who I think, is he a rookie or is he a second-year guy?
He's been for a little bit. I think he came in over the Yankees.
So he has control on him, but Mason Miller, he throws like 110 miles per hour or something like that. He goes over on this trade, and the San Diego Padres ended up giving the third best prospect in baseball and like 2 other pitchers to the Athletics, and people didn't really know what to do. There were a couple of other trades that were like, okay, like that's a an average trade, and all of a sudden, on the other end of the spectrum, the Minnesota Twins decided that they were going to fire sell at 110%. The Minnesota Twins literally traded 10 players on their 26-man roster away, including Carlos Correa, who is owed $100 million and they ended up trading him back to the team he originally came from. So the Satan Squad is back together, along with missing Bregman, though. So maybe Bregman just finds a way to get back to Houston in some weird way. I don't know how that's ever going to happen, but maybe they find a way to get the squad back together. The trash can squad is what we call them. But Minnesota decided to just kill everybody. The first thing I'll talk about before I get to... I have grades for every team, and I'll go over them really quickly. Just to kind of give everyone's perspective, and then we'll go to P4, and then we'll go to Nick Howard and maybe PC and see what he thought. But the starting pitcher market, what happened? Where was it? It was like non-existent. It was really odd. The hitting market wasn't even that good, in my opinion. Suarez,
awful.
Suarez, one of the best hitters in baseball this year. He's a rental. Don't get me wrong, but he was worth Tyler Locklead or whatever from. Like a first baseman who's a rookie, but he really he's got potential. Locklear, not really standing out to everyone's expectations. So that was a bit odd. But the reliever market, my gracious, teams are wanting to win the World Series this year, and the Mets have an incredible bullpen now. The Yankees.
Yeah, fucking Luis Torrens was our best bullpen pitcher tonight. So how'd that work out?
Remember, there's still a lot of games. Mets are in good position. They'll be fine. The Padres, their offense is it was not great, but now it is kind of good because they have Ryan O'Hearn. I know they got Freddie Fermin. Freddie Fermin's not a world beater, but he's their best catcher for sure, and he did produce when he got to San Diego. But the Yankees on paper had a good bullpen, and that did not work out at all. It was almost like something was in their favor. A lot of other stuff happened. I'll go over my grades. Okay, so let's start off with I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to go NL West first. And I'm going to start off with the D-backs. I thought the D-backs, so they had Gallen to trade, and they traded Suarez, Merrill Kelly, and I think a bullpen piece in Jordan Montgomery. Those were the guys. And Naylor, of course. Naylor was an early guy. So they sold those guys. I didn't think that they had the greatest return for who they could have sold, but at the end of the day, the hitting market was awful. So it was really odd to see that they only got back who did they get back? Tyler Locklear and maybe Brandon Garcia was like the top guys they got back from Naylor and Suarez, which kind of felt like a disappointment. They did get Cole Drake from the Rangers, who I really like, from Merrill Kelly, so congratulations, they did that. But you want to sell Gallen, but at the end of the day, the starting pitcher market was awful, and nobody was willing to take Gallen, which is kind of crazy. Which makes sense because he wasn't really good this year. So I gave him a B minus. So D-back, they did enough. It was fine. They passed the class. I gave the Colorado Rockies a C for participation. They passed the class. They did end up trading Bird and Ryan McMahon to the Yankees. Apparently, Cashman's the only Colorado Rockies whisperer. He's the only guy that can get the Rockies to trade every deadline, which doesn't make any sense. But because the Rockies never participate in the trade deadline, which makes no sense. That's why their team sucks every year. But they did get a couple of Yankee prospects, so
I
we'll
think
see.
there's other stuff that goes into that too.
A lot of stuff, but they do sell bull testicles at their stadium, so we'll see what happens there.
Why? Were you gonna go there and see what happens there?
Well, I am.
Why'd you say it like that? Why'd you say it like that?
He did say he was
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? That's what that was. We'll see what happens with bull balls. No, we
Well, an
won't.
update for you.
Update: Kyle Stelting live streams bull ball eating with like 30 Coors Lights in his hand.
What's that movie? Funny Farm.
I gave the Dodgers a B plus.
This isn't a payphone.
The
Come
Do-
on, Kyle, help me out here.
No, the Dodgers got a B plus. The Dodgers don't really need to trade. They don't need to do like a fire trade and get like another starting pitcher. They do have pitchers that are going to come back for them, and they already have a lot. They did end up selling Dustin May to the Red Sox, and they got Alex Call from the Washington Nationals, which is, older, controllable guy, but good depth for their outfield. They're still World Series contenders, so they didn't really need to do anything crazy. And then I guess I did the NL West, and let's just go to the Padres. And here's what my grade is for them. They get an A plus if they win the World Series. If they don't win the World Series, they have a big fat F, because they traded away 6 of their top 10 prospects and more. The Ryan O'Hearn and the other guy from the Orioles trade, they gave away 6 freaking minor leaguers. Whoa. So the Padres do, and then they also ended up in the one trade that went under the radar, which makes sense because the Mason Miller trade was so crazy, was the Padres gave up a really, I wouldn't say really good, but like a, above average rookie starting pitcher in Bergert, and then a ground ball specialist in Kolek, who isn't really having a great season as a starting pitcher, but his ground ball rate's crazy, so you can use him for whatever. Up for, and no offense, Freddie Fermin. And I love Freddie Fermin, Royals backup catcher. He was a loved guy. Great defensive catcher. Unbelievable defensive catcher. And they gave up 2 pitchers for Freddie Fermin. And so they rounded out their entire roster. They did it. But they did it at the highest degree. I don't even know how Mason Miller was worth the top 3 prospect in baseball. I don't even know how you get there. The Athletics, maybe Preller was on coke or something. Maybe they picked up the phone and Preller said, "Hey, how about and I forgot the kid's name again. Is it Jesus or something? I don't know.
Leo DeVries?
Leo DeVries, yeah, DeVries.
Yeah.
He just picks up the phone and goes, okay, how about DeVries, 2 other pitchers, give me Mason Miller and another guy. And the Athletics didn't even know what to do. They were probably shocked. And they said, yep. And then they were like, all right, cool, we're doing it. So Preller had his cocaine early in the morning. He put it in his pancakes. So we'll see what happens there. Now we're going to go to the NL Central. This one's an interesting one. The Cubs get a D. They get a D. They didn't do a thing. They got Willie Castro. Congratulations, I guess. So they got a utility guy. And I know they traded for a bullpen arm, and did they get Soroka as well? So yeah, they got Soroka, who's, he's a serviceable pitcher, but the Cubs could have had the opportunity to come in and say, guys, we are the NL Central Division winners. Because they have a stacked farm, by the way. Their farm is stacked. And they said, no, we are not trading away our farm. Which, sure, but you guys have a position to win the World Series. You can trade away a couple of guys to get whoever you want, and they didn't do that. So the Cubs get a D. The Brewers get a C-. They kind of passed because they got Jordan Montgomery. And the Brewers do this every freaking year, dude. I hate the Brewers. I think they want to not win the World Series. I think they actually are actively trying not to win the World Series because the Brewers were on a hot streak like we've never seen. They had the option to go out and get players to fill out to add depth, good depth to their roster, and they didn't do that. They got Jordan Montgomery, sure, and another bullpen guy, but other than that, they were like, you know what, we're just gonna...
Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery, both guys. Jordan Montgomery is out for the season.
Yeah,
And Shelby Miller is currently on IL.
So they don't really have the... they didn't really do anything crazy. I mean, I'm giving them a C- because they did-ish something, and they're good, but what are they doing? What are they doing? Speaking of this bad NL Central team deadline, the Pirates get a D-. They get a big fat D-. They sent off Bednar, whatever the heck, whack name. It should be Bendar. It sounds better. Bednar? What even is that name? They traded him to the Yankees for a pile of poop, in my opinion. I think the Yankees gave him guys who could be good, but not good enough because the Yankees, they don't want to give up anybody. And then they ended up selling one of their controllable pitchers for a pack of peanuts to the Royals, and Bailey Falter, who wasn't a world beater, but he was better than he could have been. And then Brian Hayes for nothing. They have 3 free agents on their roster right now in IKF and Tommy Pham, and then who's the other one? It's probably another pitcher or something like that. And they never moved them. You could have moved those guys for prospects, and they didn't. They just kept them there to just hang out. So
I think the Pirates are the first team in 5 years to keep Tommy Pham on their team post-deadline. I think Tommy Pham has been moved to every deadline in the last 5 years.
They did move Adam Frazier to the Royals, which apparently is the Royals' best trade acquisition of the deadline, because ever since I'll talk about it later.
So you like Yaz?
So you like Yaz. And then you know what? My Cardinals grade is an A-. Maybe Nick Howard thinks I'm being too nice here, but here's what I gotta say. Is that the Cardinals had the best, in my opinion, the best leverage in all of the trade talks for the Central teams as a seller. And they gave up guys who were good for, I think good prospects. I think the Mets trade with Hesley was a fair trade.
Baez is a good player. I remember thinking about Baez for like the last couple of years.
I think that's a solid baseball trade they just did there. The Mats trade was fantastic, and I think you guys moved somebody else in the bullpen.
Maton,
and you get I don't know.
Maton.
I don't know who Maton got moved for. I know is he
Mason Molina, a couple of decent guys that could be like starters or relievers by next year. So.
Yeah, and the only reason that it's an A- is you could have probably moved. No, not Nolan, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Jojo
think
Romero.
I don't think the Cardinals were the ones going, wait a second. We really like this third baseman guy. We're going to hold on to him for another season.
They did good enough, in my opinion. I thought they got rid of who they needed to get rid of, and they got good prospects back. Now let's go to the NL East. See what happened over there.
Oh, my gosh. Harrison Bader wasn't even good last year on the Mets.
The Atlanta
He's
Braves...
batting 800 OPS. I mean,
Oh, my God.
Here's what I give the Atlanta Braves.
Fucking Minnesota.
I gave the Atlanta Braves a C+, and here's why. A lot of people hated what the Braves did in the deadline, probably because they didn't move Ozuna. That was it. Ozuna did not get moved, which maybe they did, but at the end of the day, the hitting market sucked. So what, you move Ozuna for a pile of peanuts? They did trade away their...
I don't think other front offices want Ozuna either.
No, they don't. They kind of didn't really want him because he's literally just the original DH. Instead of like where we're moving to this like new ORDH can hit home runs, but he's also a utility guy. It's like, what's going on? The Braves didn't really have anybody else to sell, in my opinion, other than the bullpen pieces they sold. Other than that, like I was like, I don't know who else they need to sell. Like they just had a bad year. Just go reload next season. So I gave them a C plus. They passed. They weren't the worst. So Atlanta Braves don't take the smoke from everybody else. And nobody needs to be a fire seller like the freaking Twins. The Marlins, I gave them a B plus, and I think they did a good job of not selling Alcantara, because first of all, deservingly they should have said Spencer Jones, guys like that from the Yankees, and the Yankees were being like stupid idiots saying we're not trading away good prospects for a good pitcher. Because why would you ever do that? Why would you ever trade away good prospects for a good starting pitcher with control? That makes no sense in the Yankees planet. They only trade away bums. They trade bums for good players. That's how trades work, apparently, in their planet. Deservingly, the Marlins swept the Yankees after that, as they should have did. The Marlins get a B plus because they moved a couple guys that were nearing the end of contract extensions, arbitration, stuff like that. They didn't sell a lot. They kept the majority of their team, and they're gonna reload, and they're gonna be a really good team next year in the NL East. So, and they're playing really good baseball. If I had to give a team like an A plus for the second half of the seasons, it's the Marlins. They're a good team right now. I gave the Mets another A minus, along with the Cardinals. They reloaded their bullpen. I guess the one thing they could have done was get another starting pitcher, which apparently today was the reason that they lost.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He
gave up 7 earned runs in 4 innings. Just because he's best friends with Manaya, who's not even that good to begin with anyway. He's not fucking Giannis level where he gets to bring his friends with him, especially not in a starting rotation in baseball. You smoking crack.
So,
but yes, McLean or Sproat will be making their debut soon, and Frankie Montas can go to the KBO or whatever.
So we'll see but at the end of the day, the Mets did get their center fielder, and they also got their bullpen rounded out, which will get better.
What do we got? 3 closers now or something? Like the high leverage guys look real good.
So
and we get to go hell's bells to fucking trumpets. It
looks good for them. The Phillies. Let me enter this, bro.
Just keep it close. Just keep it close through 5.
The Phillies didn't really need a lot. They just needed like a depth piece for outfield,
They
and
needed pretty much exactly what the Mets needed.
Yeah, and they got Johan Duran, which he did pretty well for the Phillies. He threw 112 miles per hour and got it out of it. But Johan Duran, in my opinion, is not that great of a closer. Just because he has more contact, has a higher contact rate than you think for a guy who throws that hard, especially with a splitter like his. They did get Harrison Bader as well, so congratulations for just sucking the Twins off. Apparently, we'll see what the Phillies do. They're a bunch of old heads just kind of working around the clock at this point. And
Kyle, former pitching coach, or related to Division II pitching coaches, slice it however way you want. Can you give us a Ryan? What's his name? Ryan Taylor arm slot, real quick. Can you
Ryan
show us that?
Taylor arm slot.
Who's the guy the Mets traded for from the Giants? What was his name?
Taylor
Oh,
Rogers.
Taylor Rogers.
Taylor
He has
Rogers.
He had negative 40 arm slot. So
61.
He goes,
Show us.
or
Show us.
61. I'm not
He's
showing.
a righty.
No, I'm not showing anyone. The Washington Nationals, I gave them a C plus. I think they traded too early, in my opinion, and they didn't get the prospects they should have gotten, trading away their relievers. That's about the only thing I have for them. They could have done better if they waited for that reliever market to go up, but they didn't. Michael Soroka's gone, so they kept their squad with them. I'm glad they didn't sell Gore, dude. I hate when that stuff goes out. It makes no sense. I'm missing a team from the Central, right? I have the Mariners, Philly. Oh, no, I got them all. Okay, so we are going to go over to the AL West. I'm going to hurry up really quick because I'm just getting really PO'd at this point. A's, A+. There's really nothing to say about the A's. The A's were the kids in class that did nothing on their project and got an A+, because AJ Preller decided to give them everything. That's it. I don't care what other trade they...
Mason Miller was the only thing. Like, they probably already had, like, a mural going up in Vegas right now. And they're like, fuck, tear it down. Put up the
there were
Luis Severino one.
It's crazy. There were like A's fans I saw on social media that were just like, "Yeah, like it is a bummer, but at least we got this good trade." Like that's Mason Miller.
I would have told Mason Miller to start digging in his butt because of how incredible that trade was. Because it was...
Take him out of here.
No,
Get him outta here.
no, we're not doing it.
Get rid of this guy.
The Astros get an A. They were like the only other team in the American League that kind of went fire by. They got Xavier Edwards.
You fucking said that.
They got Xavier Edwards. They got Carlos Correa. They got their bullpen pieces. They kind of traded like there was no tomorrow. There was no World coming in December. So congratulations to the Astros for buying everybody. I gave the Angels a C+. They have no idea how to buy. They said that they were going to be buyers and then decided to buy 2 relievers and say, okay, I think that's it. And
They
now-
bought Mickey Mouse ears at Disneyland. That's what they were buying.
And
You
what they-
misunderstood.
And what the Angels did there is they have 54 wins, so congratulations to the Angels. Mariners get an A- because they just got a bunch of bats that are good. So we'll see what happens there. I think their pitching is still spooky in my opinion because those guys should be good, but they're not really that good this season. We'll see what the Mariners do. The Mariners and the Boston
Look at
Red Sox.
today. God, every other Mariners game I've ever been to, Mariners lose 1-0. All right, everyone go home. They fucking, what was there, 4 or 5 home runs total in the game?
Yeah.
What was going on with the Marine layer? I didn't notice anything different in the weather today, Kyle.
The Rangers got a B-. They got Merrill Kelly, and that's pretty cool. They just bolstered their pitching up. They didn't get any offense, but they don't really have any offense to go after because their good players are not being good. So we'll see what the Rangers do. They bought heavily. They did sell out Cole, which is kind of scary. Okay, how about AL Central time? This one was a bit odd. The AL Central included the Minnesota Twins, and we'll start off with those guys who decided to just sell off everybody. They didn't let their fans know, but they were going to sell everybody, except for Byron Buxton and Joe Ryan. And Joe Ryan had a story.
Did Tim Walls have anything to do with it?
100%. Tim Walls actually came in the office and told him that everything was going to be transgender, and then it didn't work.
Taylor Walls? Is that what we're talking about?
So the Twins are now dead.
I'm with her.
The Twins are going to be on a 2-year rebuild. We'll see how that goes.
No, who's the one? Is that Griffin Jacks, the reliever who's from St. Paul?
Yes, Griffin Jacks.
He had like 5 years of team control left.
Yeah,
and said,
he-
I want to be a Twin for life.
Yeah, and then the Twins said, actually, you're going to Tampa Bay. You're going to play in a minor league stadium. Because
And then when the Major League Stadium's done, then you can play in that minor league stadium.
So the Twins officially killed everybody. Their fans hate their life. It kind of does work, in my opinion, because they are getting new ownership, and that's a big deal. They just they executed it well. They didn't announce it well, though, and the fans were kind of taken abroad. Joe Ryan apparently was traded, according to Fox Sports and Yahoo Sports, to the Boston Red Sox, but that was never going to happen because, deservedly, a Joe Ryan pitcher should have been worth a lot of prospects. And when the Boston Red Sox, when I saw that, I honestly didn't believe it because there was no way Craig Breslow was going to trade for Joe Ryan. He was not going to give up any prospects for that.
Dustin May.
They did. We'll get to the Boston Red Sox soon. But Minnesota's dead. Everyone's gone. Carlos Correa, they literally traded him to to the Houston Astros again. There's a 26-year-old pitcher who sucks, and he's now straight up traded for Carlos Correa. So maybe
But
he
he
gets
had like a 5.2 ERA and double A ball.
So, it was just
like a
he's
26
just an old like bad pitcher, and then all of a sudden you're in Minnesota because Carlos Correa decided to show up.
Did they play the first game after the trade deadline with no one on their bench? Like no available
Yes.
bench bats or
Yes.
something crazy? Or it's
Yes.
like if someone gets hurt, we're fucked.
Yes.
Like, we could pull someone out of the stands, I guess. I don't know.
The White Sox got a B minus. I'm glad that they didn't trade Luis Robert Jr. because his value is really low, and teams are going to try to exploit him. Just wait for next season. Get some guys next season. If he ends up being good, we'll see what happens. They're trying to get better, so glad they didn't really sell crazy talent or whatever. I know they did that trade with Aaron Saval and Andrew Vaughn, but I guess they're both working out pretty well for the respective party. The Cleveland Guardians, I gave them an excuse to absence because they were going to sell Clase, and now Clase ended his career in Kansas City. Like, the last thing he remembers in the MLB was just, like, walking out of Kauffman Garbage Stadium. And that's pretty crazy. Apparently, I have to say this, but I'm glad they didn't sell Quan, even though I wanted them to. But they didn't end up selling Quan because his price should have been too high, because he's a good player. They did end up selling Shane Bieber for what I thought was a good pitcher. And who was the... Thinking in my head. Who is the bullpen guy they gave up to the Tigers?
Oh, Seawald.
Seawald. It's time for Paul Seawald to pitch. He gave him up to the Tigers. Apparently, the most in-division trades happened in the Central, which is a bunch of horse crap.
That's
I
not
hate
a
that.
surprise.
I hate that.
It
bro.
doesn't
It's a bunch
even
of,
count.
Just a cesspool of garbage.
Centrals on both sides is just a
It's
fucking,
so
the
stupid.
It's
void.
never been like that on both sides. That's why I was like, what the fuck is the AL Central on about every year? It's just
It's such a
weird how
bunch of. It's disgusting,
they like
bro.
when they get a call from another team, like, shit, we gotta pick this up. Why can't it be freaking Kansas City? Like, I want to trade with my rival. I'm so happy to do
They're
that.
like, what do you mean you want to trade me? You want to trade Carlos Estevez to the Tigers? I'll take whatever you got.
Dude, I could like even like Stern. If you're the GM of the Mets, or I would imagine this happens like in certain teams with certain fan base or whatever. But you can't be like the team, the Jets that trade a 6th-round rookie named Tom Brady to the Patriots and have him end up being good. Like, that's just simply like not how that works. In my head, if the fucking Braves were to get PCA for like Ozuna or something instead of the Javi thing, like that guy would be burned at the stake in Queens. There's no way.
Like, it's bananas. Like, when it was like, oh, Paddock's going to the Tigers. And I was like, did Twins fans just allow that to happen? They just said that that's okay? No, it should never be okay. I gave the Tigers a B minus. They just got their bullpen kind of good. They just bullpen depth their way through, which is okay. Whatever. They're pretty good anyways. They don't really need to go out and fire by. It's not like the end of the world if they don't win the World Series this year.
Oh, I did confirm the rumor today that Adolis Garcia is not a New York Met. He hit a home run.
MLB Scoops should be banned. I actually muted him on Twitter because I thought he had like his shit together, and he absolutely
Unfollow him to like definitely not get his stuff. He just completely muted him out of pure hatred.
I did, bro. I was so
No,
upset.
I just follow Baseball.
I gave the Royals a B.
Why wouldn't you? Because you didn't give him an A+.
No, they don't deserve an A+. They got their pitching for the future, so that's pretty exciting. They have like 9 starting pitchers on payroll right now. They ended up selling or buying, not selling, unless you want to say they sold Freddie Fermin, but that makes no sense. The Royals actually got 10 calls from the Tigers asking to get Carlos Estevez, and JJ Picola actually had to say, hey, remember, we're in the same division. I don't know if you knew that. You like Yaz is on the Royals now, and Randall Grichuk is also on the Royals. So
You sound really excited.
I am like listen. If you take the splits of Randall Grichuk against left-handers and Yaz just or Mike Yastrzemski against right-handers and combine them together, you have made Juan Soto in the aggregate. So the Royals basically just made Juan Soto
For $2 million.
for $2 million, and they're gonna end up
when
winning.
I put it, Pete. Why do we like it? Mike
This is-
Yastrzemski's
this is
34
what
years
went
old.
Because
like
he
the executive
gets
office.
on base. They said we're gonna take two players, one who hits righties and one who hits lefties.
Grichuk and
Which
Juan
is
Soto
crazy
conversations
because-
in big 2020.
Dude.
Because I don't know how the Giants allowed Yaz or Mike Yastrzemski to bat against left-handed pitching. It's like almost disgusting what that is, bro. He's so bad. Okay, AL East.
He's
We're
like
gonna
a
finish.
14-year. Like, he wouldn't be in the league unless the Giants gave him that, like, 26th roster spot. And then
Yeah.
you guys actually traded for him. That's so crazy.
I
He's on his retirement tour, and they trade him halfway through the season. He's like, I'm gonna retire a Giant.
which is funny because Yastrzemski looks like the guy who's been playing for like 20 years, and he only's been playing since like 2021 or something like that, like something crazy. And Randall Grichuk looks like the guy who just got out of the like minors like 5 years ago and is like hitting well, but he's been playing for like 30 years.
He was homering off prime Clayton Kershaw on the Cardinals.
Yeah,
in
like he was
2016.
really on the Cardinals like bench when they won the World Series or something crazy like that. Not actually, but like that's how old he is. Okay, AL East. Let's finish it up. I'm tired of it. We're gonna get to the other boys' opinions. Okay, Blue Jays. C. They didn't really do anything. They got Shane Bieber, cool, but they're doing their own thing. The Rays got an A+. They executed the buy-sell deadline thing to a T. They sold their guys. They bought some guys. It was perfect. The Yankees, I don't really care. They're dumb, and I hope they lose. I hope they don't even make the playoffs. Jazz Chisholm's an idiot, and Volpe literally doesn't even know how to play baseball. But apparently Yankees fans like to remind everybody that Volpe has more home runs than Vlad Guerrero, Bobby Witt Jr., and all these other good players. Because home runs are actually the most important thing in baseball, if you guys haven't noticed that, especially if you're a Yankee. If you hit the most home runs
Like
as...
Yaz.
Apparently, if you hit the most home runs as a Yankee, you're actually the greatest player of all time. So congratulations to Volpe.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works, actually, if you
Or
ask most people.
Congratulations to Anthony Volpe to having more home runs than Vlad Guerrero Jr. He actually probably must win the MVP over him. Okay, there's a couple other teams that Baltimore Orioles. I gave them a C, and the only reason I give them a C is because they're such a sad organization that decided not to sell any of their prospects for pitching this offseason, and now they have to sell their retired contracts to other teams. And they got a lot of prospects back, but it's just going to be the same thing every year. Oh, we got a ton of prospects. Are you going to trade them for a pitcher? No, because we want to have a bunch of white boys that can hit, so we'll see what they do. The Red Sox get a D because they had the opportunity to get a starting pitcher, and they said, no, we're not going to do that. If for some random reason the Royals ended up wanting to give away Noah Cameron and Blake Mitchell and another pitcher for Jarren Duran, and the Red Sox said no, the Red Sox are completely the dumbest people on the planet because that makes no sense at all. Craig Breslow, I hope you continue to do this thing where you keep all your prospects and then you end up not making the playoffs every year because you're a bum. Dustin May's your guy. I'm going to say that, and then Dustin May's going to throw a no-hitter against the Royals on Tuesday or something like that. Or Wednesday, whenever he pitches against the Royals. I got another team in the AL East. I'm missing them. Wait, no. Blue Jays, Orioles, Rays. Oh, no, I got them all. I'm done. P4, what do you think about the trade deadline for your...
I disagree with what you said.
Okay.
Next.
Anyways, the Mets, they got some bullpen pieces. Howard, what did you think about the trade deadline overall?
Just quickly, it was like, I'd say a lot of people say bare minimum. We did the bare minimum, which I think the players we traded away, yes, true. We could have traded Jojo Romero away, but he has some good control. Mayton's a 1-year rental. Pelsley's got he's on the last year of his contract, and it would have been nice to get some stuff in the offseason. Here we are now. Not a bad reception. I'll give that thought in a second. And then we also gave away Steven Matz, which I think was the most valuable trade of the deadline in terms of we didn't really need him. We were putting him in the bullpen to try and do something, and we ended up getting a guy who can play a decent amount for first base in Blaze Jordan. For the Mets trade, I like the Mets trade. I think it was what I was expecting at the beginning of the month, at the best. There was a lot of stuff going on for the closing market, which got crazy, and I thought we were going to get more. But I think the players we got are pretty decent. I went and looked, and Dom, the pitcher that we got from them, I really do like. Obviously, you got Jesus Baez, who's a top 10 prospect on our team now. He's in single A, probably our second baseman in the future, maybe. We'll see how that goes, but I think we got a decent trade for Helsley. We really couldn't trade our bats. I think that would have just been something absolutely tanking everything that the Cardinals could do the rest of the year. And then the guys that are no trades, they want to be here. I guess Nolan really just didn't have any plans to go elsewhere, from what I heard. But at the same time, yeah, they just did really the bare minimum. It's John Mozeliak's last trade deadline, so that is probably the biggest headline out of this. But I'm not excited. I'm not like thrilled about it. But at the same time, they could have done a lot worse. So I'll give them that.
P4, do you want to actually say real words about the trade deadline? If not, it's okay. I mean, it was a pretty tough day for the Mets, so I'm not going to blame you if you don't want to speak about baseball.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to say?
You should have got a starting pitcher.
Starting pitcher, but then what are you supposed to do? I would like to bring up, I think we said that this was the craziest deadline ever, like no question about it, ever, in the moment, which I do think. But now, after a couple days, do we still think that that's like 21 was a good one? I think 2015 was a good one.
20, I had to look back, and
interesting.
2015 was a crazy one at that time.
Right.
Like I remember when someone said the Royals just got Johnny Cueto, and I go, fuck, we just gave up everybody. And then we did. We gave up our 1, 2, and 3 guy for Johnny Cueto. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, that's what trades used to be. It was like, oh, do you want a good starting pitcher for like literally 60 games? How about your 1, 2, and 3 guy? And it was like, fine, whatever. We're winning a World Series. Like 2015 was like balls to like AJ Preller he wouldn't even dance on that floor if he was in 2015. But that was also back when baseball was like a different sport, when like the Royals were cheating and stuff like that. And we're gonna just win based off of base hits and extra running.
That's enough about that. He threw it over to me to talk about 2015 Royals, which is blasphemous. Yeah, so the Mets probably needed a starter, but maybe we like Sproat and McLean. I would really like to see one of those guys make their debut. It's very interesting to see how, because I think Luis Angel Acuna is a better player than Tyrone Taylor right now. I think a guy who gives us a better chance to win is probably Luis Angel Acuna. He plays center field, and he's faster, and he has a batting average over 200. The Mets are employing a guy with a batting average under 200. But because of the way that the options work, we're going to send Acuna to Syracuse, and we're going to keep Tyrone on the bench, and then we're going to have Frankie Montas pick 6 innings when fucking Jonah Tong has like a fucking K rate of 97 and a walk rate of 0.1. And it's like, all right, well, this is how the money fucked us. Like, if we didn't have any money, we would be better right now. Since we had so much money, we needed to get Frankie Montas. We needed to get Clay Holmes. We needed to turn him into a starter. We needed to get rid of Budo.
it's Moneyball too, but like completely opposite. It's like, oh, you have too much money, and you're like, I don't even know what to do.
And now we can't send this guy down or just
because
pay
because
him
just
40
there's so much
million.
money. PC, I know you paid attention to the trade deadline more than you have. Did you have any thoughts specifically about the Royals?
No, not really. I thought they picked up some interesting pieces. The Royals are kind of in a weird, funky spot. I think they're only they were 3 games back, but I think they dropped back down.
They're 3.5.
They're 3.5 back in the wild card. So, like, we're getting to the point now where they really need to make a push. It was nice to win the series over Toronto. They've got they're going to Fenway here soon. That'll be interesting to go play a wild card team, maybe gain some games back there. I don't know. It's just Bobby Witt is going to be Bobby. Mikkel's playing really well. Yastrzemski hit a home run, but he's not like a long term. I don't know how great of a user he's going to be for us. I don't know. I'm interested.
Oh, well, he's better than MJ fucking Melendez, so
Well, right.
that's the only thing.
But I don't know. I paid attention to some. I saw that a lot of relief pitchers were going for a lot, and I was.
It was
shocked by
crazy.
that. Just see the names and your guys' reaction, because names don't mean a lot, but your guys' reactions on some of those names really mean a lot. Because you guys snowball a little bit better than I do.
I could
So
not
it was
believe.
Definitely
could not
very
believe it.
interesting trade deadline. I'm really excited to actually, I did go to Fenway. That made me, enjoy and appreciate baseball a little more. I am kind of excited to see down the stretch here what happens. I did put a parlay on the Mets to, do well this season, so I'm going to be kind of a Mets guy too. So if they make a far run, I'll jump on that bandwagon. But it'll be really interesting. I thought. I think there was a few teams that you've mentioned that really knocked it out of the park. I think the NL is going to be insane, especially playoffs wise. If we get I think the Red Sox will fade. We get a Red Sox game, it's a wild card. But getting down to the wire here,
Yeah.
we've got 3/4 left. 3/4 of the season over. Getting down to what really matters. So it's just like getting to the All-Star break for the NBA season. It's like this when it starts.
Yeah, I'll just say this about the Royals. What the Royals basically did is they should have sold. Like in a vacuum, they should have sold. But what the Royals did is basically told the entire AL that they all suck. Which honestly isn't even a bad thing to do because the Yankees are garbage now. I don't know how long they can keep up until Judge comes back. But knowing Judge's injury, I don't even know how he's going to come back. His injury's not like, oh, he can hit and not throw, which, whatever. This is a bad injury for Judge. Judge is not in a good spot, and they're going to try to bring him back as fast as possible, and he's not going to be a good hitter because his elbow is completely destroyed. It's worse than having a UCL tear. The Red Sox are also like known chokers at the deadline, and so are the Seattle Mariners. So you have 3 teams right now that are in wild card spots, and one of them is going to go away. I don't believe in the Rangers. I don't think they got anything. Maybe Cleveland does something crazy, or maybe the Angels do something crazy. But the wild card teams in the AL right now are not going to be the same at the end of the season. That's just my 2 cents. We'll leave it at that. Freddie Fermin's probably going to be the World Series MVP for the Padres. Book that right now. And let's move on to the UFC Fight Night.
Yeah, we had an interesting card for sure. Some good knockouts, some good fights going on specifically. We'll take a look at this and then preview the next one. And then since we were kind of late on Smart or Dumb, before kind of got right off the boat, we will start that back up next week. But
Awesome.
Taria and Park. How do you say his-
Try it again.
how do you say his last name?
His
wanna
last
keep
name?
butchering it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Taria.
Yeah, Taria. Yeah.
Taria.
Tyra.
Tyra. Yeah, good fights. I
Katsuro.
watched this card some.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm UFC
know,
champion.
It was, there was some. There wasn't really
Thank you.
knockouts. The biggest one,
So
obviously,
funny.
for me was Neil Magny knocked out. But P4, why don't you take it away?
No,
so we
Maggie
can catch
knocked
some of
someone
these.
out.
Or yeah, excuse me, he won. Yes, he beat. Yeah,
All right, leave it up to the experts.
yeah, that's exactly.
PAB.
Sorry, I'll just shut up and leave it to the expert of the UFC right here. I just wanted to give my preview. Go ahead, P4.
Azamat Bakayev had 2 fights scheduled for this card. Both were canceled. Azamat Bakayev, if you want me to share my screen, you gonna share it? Either way.
You can share it.
All right. Azamat Bakayev's one of the funniest fighters on Twitter. I would look into him if I was one of you guys, and I hadn't seen it already. He's very funny. But you guys over there, and I'll move this over to here. Share that with that. But Azamat Bakayev, he did not end up getting a fight this week. I think they're trying to sign him onto something else. He was supposed to fight with Torres Finney. Finney withdrew, and then his original fight. But also in the main event, Amir Al-Abazi, he fell out. He's probably going to
This
get
card,
smoked
it's just like
anyway.
there's so many fallouts. It was.
I mean, 2 weeks before, the main event is gone. But let's go through the card, starting with Pierre Rodriguez versus Kelton Souza. Kelton Souza, this is a good fight. I mean, you got 2 women flyweight fighters.
Strawweight.
Strawweight fighters, yeah. Rafael Estevan versus Felipe Bunez. Another decision right here. This was kind of a cool fight. This fight night, I mean, even in this fight right here, there was some good combinations, punches landed. Up here, there were some really good ones. This Carol Rosa fight was very good. But there was some real bangers. And I know bangers in this card. Right here, we've got a flyweight, the huge favorite, Estevan won. It was actually I believe he was a favorite to win by either submission or knockout, but only winning by decision, which was an impressive decision, but maybe a little slow on the hype train there. Bunez is a good fighter as well, down to 14-8. Austin Bashi and John Yanez. John Yanez with the loss. He's kind of been like this knockout guy. This was his UFC debut. He was signed a couple days ago. I think he was signed to fight on the Contenders series in a couple weeks, but they gave him his debut early. But right here, this guy, he just won his Contender series fight, and then he lost to Christian Rodriguez, which was another good fight. I believe that was in the Apex as well in January. But this kid right here, Austin Bashi, he's kind of working his way up the ranks. Fun to see him. I like seeing these Contender Series guys work their way up through the rankings, so that's good for him. Andre Pulalev and Nick Klein. Nick Klein is so done for, man. I mean, he's a good wrestler, and he looked good for the first couple minutes of the fight, but in that second round, he got hit with that liver shot, and he just totally crumbled. There was no recovery. There was no nothing from him. So Andre Pulayev with the win. He's also a Contender Series guy. Lost to Leroy Duncan. That was a good fight, too. In March of this year. Anything on Nick Klein here? I know he's a name that's been tossed around before.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he's a good wrestler, yes, but he's lost 2 of his 2 fights, UFC fights. Now I don't know if he's gonna have him on track.
I mean, it's the fact of getting KO'd, and it's not.
He knocked out twice.
Yeah.
In the second round.
I mean, he's a good fighter. When he knocks people out, it's cool. When he submits people, it's cool. When he wins decisions, it's cool. But when he's not winning, he doesn't really.
Right.
And that's the biggest part of being a fighter right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Rodolfo Vieira got the win over Tresean Gore. Tresean Gore, I mean, what the
Sucks.
Dude, he's so
Yeah,
bad,
he's
bro. That was such a.
I saw a tweet, and this isn't me, And Trey Sean, if you want to come on the podcast, you're always invited. I did see a tweet this weekend that made me laugh out loud.
Sean.
Do not come. Do not come.
No,
Do not
it said
come.
Trey Sean Gore looks like he had 4 teachers in his classroom. And he probably wasn't one of those classes that had extra help. But Rodolfo Vieira got a good win. Trayshawn Gore, I mean, he's a powerful puncher. He's a good wrestler. I mean, he's been a professional wrestler.
He's got skill. He just doesn't know what the hell to do
He's-
with it.
he's
Like
got
his
no-
guillotine works, but like other than that, it's like he's almost like confused. Like it's like going into like with a 99 rated fighter, and then you like don't even look at the controls. You're just like fuck it, and don't like spam buttons. Like you're just like this button, this button, this button, and like yeah, that's exactly how I would describe Gore. He doesn't know what to do with what he's got at all.
Poor guy. Down to 5-4. I mean, come on.
Not looking good. It's not looking good.
Might not be a contract.
No,
He has
not
more
like
Gilly
all-
wins than Dustin Poirier.
Well, yeah. Dustin doesn't have one.
A single one, no. And he's used it almost every fight.
Rina Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. This was another cool fight
Nakamura
right
fucking
here.
killed him. That
Yeah,
was-
I mean, he came
Fletcher's
out
not even, like,
swinging,
an
man.
ass, but yeah, Nakamura.
Former wrestler, obviously here.
First
KOs.
first
submission.
round win, I think. He has like 6 of them already, or like
In
half
the
of them at
UFC,
least. Something
he
crazy.
has 2. That's his second. But
Okay.
Road to the U. Oh, that's right. He was the Road to the UFC guy.
Yeah.
Road to the UFC, which is a cool thing. I mean, this is the other part. Like, if I'm a NFL fan, I know that he goes to college and then he gets drafted to the NFL. MMA, it's so different. And then even within the UFC, it's like you could do Tough, you could do the Contender Series, you could do fucking
There's a lot of
BJJ.
avenues
You could do,
to get
yeah.
to the UFC, which is cool. Even if you're a top fighter, you're going to the UFC.
That was such a cool knockout, Mingxi. I saw something that said that she was cut from the UFC or something.
She might be taking
But,
a break because she's a damn
Doctor and
doctor.
stuff. Yeah. But Road to the UFC is a cool thing. I mean, 2 first-round knockouts in that, or a submission and knockout. And then he looks pretty good here. I mean, he lost to Mulin Gurfov in his last fight, but who's a former one championship. But this guy, Nakamura, I mean, bantamweight looks good. We just saw Bryce Mitchell get a win in bantamweight. This guy's a former wrestler. Obviously, you got guys like Umar and Sandhagen, who's a wrestler, and Sean, who's not a wrestler, but Marab, who's the champ, who's a wrestler. You also have some really cool strikers in that division.
Vinicius Oliveira.
Cowboy Oliveira's good. I mean, Peter Yan.
There's-
You got an incredible lineup at 35 right now, and it's real exciting to watch. This was one.
Could he get? Do you think Nakamura could get a top 15 match it, or does he need another win, or because it was pretty impressive. There's not really.
Not
I'm trying to
quite
look at these
yet. His-
rankings
I would
yet.
still put him on like an early prelim or like maybe a prelim down the card of a fight night or like
I just
early
don't see
prelim.
him beating like a guy like.
Yeah, if Pedro
He's got-
Munoz is still around.
I would take him out of the Apex, but
Yeah, yeah.
probably
Yeah,
still-
you sure?
for starters, yeah.
Kyle Phillip. I don't know.
Oh
I don't know.
my god.
I didn't know if Nakamura needed another one.
Maybe Lima would be a fun one. That would be something to be
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
I think that was a fight that was supposed to set Lima. Yeah, Andre Lima was supposed to be on this card.
Or
That would be interesting.
am I thinking of this?
Oh, this is the other. This is
no,
the
no,
other
no, no,
Lima.
no.
This is the one who got bit.
I'm
But he's-
talking. Yeah, he's not bad, but
Yeah, this is flyweight. We're thinking
I was
Yeah,
talking.
Bantam.
Yeah, who beat or who Talbot beat?
Oh, Honi Barcelos. That's who lost it. That's who beat Talbot.
Nah, Felipe Lima, right?
Yeah, he lost to Talbot.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I think Felipe Lima versus Nakamura would be a good bantamweight fight for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, Felipe.
ranked
I don't think.
just
I
yet,
don't think
but
he's
I think-
related to Andre Lima. But they're both pretty good fighters.
Brazilians.
There's a few of them out there. Kevin Viejas versus Danny Silva. Wasn't Danny Silva talking shit like this whole fight? Like he was like, yeah, man, like he kept on getting hit and he was like, what? And then he lost 30-27.
It was a really weird fight. He was
Um,
smoked.
Yeah, and Kevin Viejas is a good fighter. I don't think Danny Silva looked too bad. I mean, I think he just needed to do. He needed to do more. I mean, it's a trap that a lot of fighters fall into. And we see it. We saw it with the Patchy Mix fight a while ago. But these guys who like think that like, oh, you have to come beat me. You have to come beat me. No, they fucking don't. You have to come beat them just as much. So if you're just gonna take shots and go, that was nothing. Well, you didn't do anything either. So you know what's less than nothing? Actually nothing. So Kevin Viejas looked real good. El Chino, 23 years old, 16-1, just a really cool prospect coming up. A lot of KOs. This was one of his decision wins right here. But yeah, I mean, coming on up through the Contender Series.
It'll be fun to watch.
After that, happy birthday, Neil Magny. He beat Zaleski. Dos Anjos. But these guys have both been in the UFC for well over a decade. Yeah, 2015, and I believe Neil Magny like set a record for most welterweight wins or something, maybe.
Got a lot of first in the
2013.
welterweight division. I know that much for sure. In terms of like the oldest to do well.
I mean, yeah, he's just been around. But look at this. This is like a fucking Christmas tree. Brother's never been on a streak.
It's gatekeeper for you.
Yeah, he had this one in
You other
2014, 2015, but then Damian Maya stopped him. And then, motherfucker Ben, holy shit. Okay,
You're
so he
either a
really
dog.
needed this one.
Yeah. You're either a
Gilbert
dog
Burns, Bill Rupp.
or you
This
lose
is
to
such a
Neil
crazy
Magny.
run, right? Like Jeff Neal, who I think is the same guy. Has anyone ever seen Jeff Neal and Neil Magny in the same room? But Michael Chiesa, Robbie Lawler. Like this is a who's who of welterweight for the last decade. So Neil Magny, who's just cleaned out the UFC. And you win some, you lose some, whatever. But congratulations to Neil Magny. He said he wants to go fight for a title again. He just turned 38 today. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But congratulations to him.
This is gonna win.
Carol Rosas versus Nora Cornell. This was a cool fight right here. Unanimous decision. I think the judges had this one right. Rosa did the more grappling and the more punches, takedowns, all that stuff. I think Nora Cornell they're trying to get on the French card, but Esteban Ribovics versus Elvis Brenner. This fight was fight of the night. We had two fight of the nights. El Gringo comes out with a win. A couple Argentinians won in this card. This was an incredible fight. Another Contender Series guy lost to Nasrat Harkwas. Oh, not that guy. And Elvis Brenner, kind of a submission guy. Looked good. He's on a little bit of a downswing on his UFC. But I mean, he's also kind of got Hopeki.
I mean, yeah. Or Ball and Joel Alvarez. That's nothing to be like, yeah, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Lose to
what are
those
you gonna
guys
do?
back to back. What are you, an average UFC fighter?
And this fight was insane. Like he held his own. It could have gone really either way. I mean, I do agree with the judge's decision that it was Esteban, but he was in there the whole time. There's a reason you give it fight of the night, not performance of the night, right? I mean, both these guys were in here. They were swinging and banging. So hopefully Elvis gets another good UFC bout, and then Esteban, keep doing what you're doing. Chris Duncan versus Mateus Rebecki. These guys are teammates, and they kick the shit out of each other. This fight was so crazy, man. Unanimous decision. I had $1 on Rebecki. I kind of liked Rebecki at the end of it. Duncan did look very good. Very funny during the fighter preview. Chris Duncan speaks English, but with a Scottish accent. They had him dubbed with subtitles. So I thought that was pretty good. But a really cool fight here. These guys, about the same age, they do train together. So there was like some weird things they had to do with the fighter hotel and their training partners and all that kind of stuff. But incredible fight by both these guys. Excited to see what both them do. Anything on Duncan and Rebecca? What'd you
That was
get,
a
Kyle?
nuts fight. That was absolutely just straight war the entire time. Yeah, like both their eyes at the end of it was nuts. And Rebecca did really good. I think he was very focused on the head without any like defense, and that's what kind of his like sword was that Duncan was really just going up and down the body like the whole time, and I think that overall was a little bit better. I know maybe the statistics didn't show a whole lot, but I think Duncan's hits were definitely impactful, to say the least, because Duncan had some crosses and stuff, but Rebecca's eye was just completely swollen shut, and it was just, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Rebecca,
thank you to the doctor for not stopping the fight. He was brought into the corner at the end of round 2.
it was tough, but yeah, I mean, they both made it in the
Let 'em
end, and
fight.
it looks like they're both doing somewhat good, but like, yeah, that both guys need to take a chill pill for a second after that fight, because that was just straight brutality, and I mean, props to both guys, really, just going, and that's one of those fights that's like, it's just crazy to even like go through the 3 rounds of that and stay standing and stuff, like, and make the other guy look even as bad as you do. So
Yeah,
this fight was
Duncan
fun.
looked fucked up as
This
well.
was a really fun Apex fight for sure. I really enjoyed this trade a lot. Not a lot of defense, but that's not what we're here for in fucking fight. Throw hands, damn it.
And in our main event, we had Haesung Park versus Tatsuro Taira. Haesung Park, who was undefeated at the time, good
9
fighter.
finishes and 10 wins before this fight.
Yep. Rear naked choke in the UFC. He was also on the road to the UFC to first round knockouts or finishes. Rear naked choke, liver shot to ground strikes. Rear naked choke. Carlos Hernandez, not a bad win right there. Tatsuro Taira is like really, really good. I think
Yes, I agree. I think because
this wasn't a fraud check. Like that's how good he is.
Yeah.
This wasn't a fraud check.
Did you put
He
him
was
against,
just that much better
That
than Park.
looked like a number 6 ranked fighter in the division fighting against an unranked fighter, and that's nothing against Park either. Like Tyra just did what he had to do. He threw a great jab, took him down, slammed him next to the cage, and then was just automatically going for the win and like for the kill. And I was just like, yeah, this guy, we need to see him at the top of the flyweight division for
do
a
you think
while.
he could? I mean,
Yes,
I mean, obviously
That's
Joshua
exactly what
Van
his next fight should be.
and Katoja, but Brandon Moreno.
His only loss is a split decision
I
to Brandon Royval, who
really-
we know who Brandon Royval is.
Yeah, 100%. I really would
Could have him
like to
fight
see
Moreno.
how
That'd be dope.
Asakura versus Elliott. You go and if Asakura really handles what he should be doing and puts on a great show from what we've seen and other stuff, he's still pretty young. If Kai Asakura can go and do work with Elliott, I think maybe another fight for Asakura. And then if you have like a Japan card next year, I think him against Tyra in the main event would be fucking baller, because I do like.
Is the best
Asakura's
base for being a
skills.
flyweight in the UFC being Asian?
I mean,
Rob.
yeah, you got banned from Myanmar, either Asian or like
Yeah, I mean,
Mexican,
Yeah, that's
Hispanic.
South American. Pantoja is a baller. But yeah, incredible fight by both these guys. Like I said, this wasn't a fraud check. Park is still a real good fighter. He just needs to fight one of those in-betweener guys, get a little more experience under his belt. That's a cool thing about fighting, and I know everyone likes to talk about Khabib and John Jones, and when you're talking GOAT conversation, you really have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. But you learn more in your losses than you do in your wins. Yeah, I mean, gosh, what a cool fight. He just took his back so easily in the first round, wasn't able to get the choke, and then the second round was just able to finish it. So that does it right there. Tatsuro Taira versus Haesung Park. What do we got next week? It's another Apex fight.
gold.
Ooh, Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Dolezaj. Steve Erceg versus O'Day Osborne. This is going to
And
be...
then
Is that Lucas's brother?
They just go on.
Uh,
Lucas
Andre
or
Fili.
Lucas Urseg, pitcher for the Royals.
No. His family gave him up. That's not even his real life.
That's Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Mm.
Steve Erseg is such a goofball, bro. Andre Feely right here. Andre Touchy Feely from. Oh, jeez. I got to see it before Federal Way, isn't he? Yeah, Federal Way.
Nice.
But he lost in the Seattle card. Yeah, that was his last fight. This is Costa's kind of a baller too.
Yeah, he looks scary.
He looks so different now too.
They just painted him.
No, he's got Mar-a-Lago or whatever.
Oh, it's a great place to stay. You ever been there? It's great.
Gosh.
A lot of great
Release
activities.
the Stelting files. That's the files.
Yeah,
that I
what's
wanna see.
the files you want to see? Because those are pretty crazy. Willow would kill me.
But Gabrielle Fernandez, Julio Soreko, Joseline Edwards. There's some good women fights on this card. Julius Walker, Christian Leroy Duncan. He's probably gonna get smoked.
But yeah,
Well, George.
good stuff there for UFC. Main man from Way Out West, always on top of it. You know, he is our current expert here at Dude Sports.
You looking for another one?
Does it pretty great. You know, honestly, no, because you show up the most. So no, your contract has been fully. We should actually do contract.
I am the podcast.
But I mean, like, you're not getting like Michael Parsons money. You're just gonna get like nothing.
Hey, no one's getting any money from this
This is
thing.
the whole point. So, yeah, that's gonna be kind of it for us here to Dude Sports tonight. We kind of ran a little long. It is 11:30 here Central Time, 9:30 for you West Coasters. Do this every Sunday, just like we always do. We will do our last little whip around. Let's start off with the Relic Finder, the actual unbelievable man, Penguin Saver,
What are you
Whale
in San
Saver,
Francisco?
unbelievable guy.
That's what they
Howard,
say.
sir, what is your final words?
Oh man, there's a lot that is going on, I feel like, in this time of year, and it's weird because, like, on the surface level, we're like, what do you mean? Only baseball's playing. We got the Hall of Fame game that just went down this past year, so you know there's little rustles in the leaves and everything. It's, oh my goodness, football is coming. College football is coming soon. I'm super excited for the slate this year, honestly. LSU versus Clemson is probably national championship implications week 1 between Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier, my fucking QB. We will get into that weeks to come. And then, other than that, I mean, like I said, we got the NFL coming. NBA's getting a little close. That's still a little bit distance away. But then you got a lot. I mean, shoot, around the world, it's been insane for soccer. The last season of club play before the next World Cup that's coming in next summer. So that will be interesting. But yeah, other than that, the trade deadline's up. We got postseason baseball on the way. It's like I told PC. Trade deadline, yeah, it's a lot of trades, and, you know, it's kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, it's all about who makes it to October and what they did at the deadline. Or maybe more Octobers in the future, like the Oakland Athletics. Fucking Las Vegas Athletics. I did not say Oakland Athletics.
Oakland is your team.
Fuck John Fisher. Anyways,
John
yeah,
Fisher just
baseball
got the best prospect
is
ever.
absolutely, yeah, he's actually winning right now. But yeah, it's a really interesting time of year, and I'm excited because it's a lot that we're getting closer to the postseason. We're getting closer, and big sports coming up. It's not there yet, but you can see it's right around the corner. So count me in for the rest of this ride going into the fall season.
K-Stel, what's your final words?
Whenever Weapons comes out, I'm ready to go watch it. That looks like a great movie. It's scary. Let's think about it real quick. I haven't heard a rookie be talked about like Josh Simmons is being talked about since Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust. He might just be right in between. But what I'm hearing about Josh Simmons is that he's a freak. And he gets into a lot of fights. So, which was expected. Man, if the Royals could make the playoffs, that would be sick. I don't know if they will. Like, a part of me thinks they can because, like, it's the Mariners, Red Sox, and the Yankees. And I know for a fact that one of those teams is not going to be in the playoffs. It just depends on if the Royals or if the Rangers are that team that makes the playoffs. We'll see. Maybe Adam Frazier needs to be on the Royals every season. Because the minute he came to the Royals are now averaging 4.6 runs a game instead of 3.2. Player coach? Probably the best trade of the deadline for the Royals, in my opinion. Definitely filled in a hole in Jack Caglione, who's injured. Jack Caglione is struggling. Who could have seen that coming? Not Nick Howard. Nick Howard was 100% believer.
JJ Weatherholt had he was 4 for 4 with a home run today at third base.
Keep on
I'm
going.
talking.
It's my turn.
Nick Howard believed fully in Jack Caglione's production at the major league level. He thought that a player who was literally playing for the Gators last season was going to come in and just be, prime Barry Bonds. So Nick Howard was wrong. I was actually the right one. I actually said that Jack Caglione was going to stink it up because it made no sense for him to be in the majors that early. But MJ Melendez and Hunter Renfroe exist, and that's why Jack is here. It's unbelievable. What else? I have nothing else. Weapons is going to be a good movie. Fantastic Four was a good movie. If you haven't gone and seen Fantastic Four, go watch it. It's a good movie. It's a good Marvel movie. I like it. Galactus was fire. Silver Surfer was cool too. And if you're going to be freaking MAGA on me, there's a real life woman, Silver Surfer, in the comics from the 80s. Suck my wiener and go to bed.
Main man for you out west?
I disagree with everything Kyle just said.
Everything that's been said, I don't like. Speaking
Wrong.
of,
It's my turn.
wait, can I say something before you start talking? It might give you an incentive. The current president of the United States got informed that Sydney Sweeney was a registered Republican, and his immediate response after that was, "Oh, now I like her."
I was wondering why you put that in the Dudes in Sports group chat. What kind of idiot are you? We went from a Mets everything in this, and then all of a sudden
That's
that is what
everything.
you put in there.
And then Donald Trump said, "I like her now."
Oh, your group chats.
I like her now. I wouldn't have liked her if she was a Kamala voter, but now I like her.
My son Baron is very fond of her.
My son Barrett likes her rack.
Welcome to Newsmax, folks. We go off topic quite often because all of our teams just absolutely depress us, and we're all absolute psychopaths.
I am 1776.
Can we get sponsored by Newsmax?
Did we see that Alex Jones tweeted that? It's my favorite tweet I've ever seen. Alex Jones.
You are the
tweeted,
only one
"I
that
am-"
sees that shit.
No!
You-
He has the biggest fan base in the world. It's bigger than CNN. It's bigger than Fox. He tells me every episode. I sit in front of the computer like this. Go and tell me more.
Tell me more about the frogs.
Oh my God,
Jesus.
they're lizards. Because I bleed red blood. No, why did we even let Kyle say that? Thank you guys for joining us on the Dudes of Sports podcast. I didn't even say hello, folks. Hello, folks.
Goodbye.
I
Right.
should have said it
Donate,
before goodbye,
subscribe.
folks.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking?
Like, donate, subscribe. Donate via super chat. Check out the channel. Check out the social medias. We're gonna do some fun stuff. Rewatch last week's episode. I think it's the best episode we've ever done, guys. If it was up to me, I'd say that's the best episode we've ever done. But yeah, and we'll do Smart or Dumb. I'll start my questions now. And then we'll do Smart and Dumb next week. But appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. And then I don't want to take PC's whole thing. That's what he says. Last week I had a lot on my plate. Okay, I had to do so many different jobs. But go Mets, go Jets. Oh, another thing that I need to say. Between PC and Howard, they both said, like, after I said my Caleb Williams thing, they go, yeah, I think Caleb Williams is good, but agreeing with P4 that Caleb Williams isn't. I don't think Caleb Williams is good. They can think he's good and he won't be good next year.
I
think
do.
He won't be good next year and then not good after that, too.
I think he's gonna be
I'll
good.
put him in second, bro.
What are you talking about? You were just
high.
quoting his
I-
boat a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. I don't know what made you
I-
do that.
I'm the Caleb Williams fan. I think he's gonna paint his nails pink and he's gonna win a couple
No
more
matter
games.
what he paints his nails, that man's going to kill it. You got the best QB in the draft. You got the best coach. It's something the Jets can't do. It's something the Titans can't do. You know, we're interlinked like that. P4 likes to disagree with that forever.
No, but you can't look at
the-
another
all-
team and be like,
the-
they're
the
better,
difference
and
you can
they're the
always
Bears.
see
That's such a
between the
loser
Titans and the
mentality.
Jets.
There's no
He
way.
just talks about Joe Namath that wasn't even in his lifetime.
Without
It's the
that
same thing
game, the
with
NFL wouldn't exist. Tune into next week where we talk about Super Bowl.
AFL versus NFL.
I mean, guys, they were 16.5-point dogs before the game started. And that was when New Jersey and
You
the
want
five
me to go on a
families
big
were
load
weighing
about
in.
Warren Moon? Is
Oh,
that what you want me to
Jesus.
do?
This is what you
No,
get with the
they already
Sports
unretired his
Podcast.
number. You know what? If they would have
The new
unretired
GOAT.
12 for Rodgers, that would have been so much worse. And Joe
Like
offered
our
it to him.
chaos.
But they unretired one. So you're on standby.
It's
You're
Cam
on
Ward or
stand-
it's nothing. He's
Yeah.
winning the Super Bowl or we just tank the
Our
entire
offense is
franchise.
mid. That's a real quote. Our offense is mid.
That is so awesome too.
He's
I love
honest.
that.
Also, P4 like in real life said that Vientos was a better player, ceiling wise, than Luis Robert Jr.
Joe Bear. Yeah, and that's 100%.
Robert,
true.
it's Robert. I thought it was Robert too because
Robert. It is Robert.
everyone calls him Robert, and I don't know what to think. I said Robert, and I was
Kyle doesn't know what to think.
All right, let's just bring this back in a little bit since we're literally trying to cut it off. Like, subscribe. 9:30 Central Time.
Goodbye, folks.
7:30 for you silly West Coasters, and we will see you guys next time.